next video in this little series about my 30 hours of prone foiling and the lessons I've learned. So let's talk about the next one, catching a wave. Yeah. So now it's all about conservation of energy in my world actually, because you're going to spend a lot of time drinking salt water. You're going to spend a lot of time falling off these things. So conservation of energy is a really big thing. Now, you know, for a 50-something-year-old IT guy, I'm actually doing all right. So thank you very much. But anyway, it's still a mission if you want to spend all that time on the water. It's 1, 2, 3 hours a day out. And so here at Currumbin, Queensland, Australia, you know, beautiful spot to learn particularly, and I've learned that outgoing tide is important as well in terms of conservation energy. I'll talk to you another one about that. But anyway, let's talk about catching a wave. Look, what I found, and you're finding yourself, your weight's further forward than you might otherwise think is the right thing to do. So the bow of the board is a little bit underwater, you know, and you're actually catching, because you actually want the wave as it's coming through, and I'm catching ones that have just broken, or the big powerful waves that have broken and just got plenty of oomph in them. We've got plenty of volume in this board, so it really just a paddle, wave's gonna, and the foam is gonna pick you up and take you off. You're obviously gonna be working on your strength and trying to get the direction going. But catching the wave, body weight a little bit further forward than you might think normal, and what's going to happen is the foil's going to engage and it's going to take off, and it's actually doing probably most of the work. The thing's taken off because of the volume, but it's the foil's going to kick in and hopefully get you underway, and you're going to go out in front of that foam, you're going to stay out in front of that wave, and you're going to take off. And if you've got your weight forward and you've got your grip on that thing, you've got control of this thing, you can keep the bow down, because the minute the bow comes up, or the minute if you start foiling probably before you have a chance to stand as a beginner, it's all going to just end in tears. Yeah, so keep the bow down, catch the wave, and be very conspicuous, be very thoughtful about the waves you're trying to catch, because you definitely want to conserve your energy, catch as many waves as possible, and just come to find those waves that are just breaking, just foamy, or a big foamy beach break or wave that's come through and it's just going to take you away anyway. Those sorts of waves are all fodder for those things, but don't catch the ones too late, don't catch them too early, conserve your energy, catch the ones that are right for you. Now what else should we roll in about this thing? Oh yeah, that's the thing. Now once you get the hang of it, it happened about 20 hours in, is that catching a bigger wave that hasn't broken, you go, oh my god, that thing's got me, I'm going with it. So you tend to want to do on a surfboard or a big board or something, you'll push it way forward, won't you? Because you think, oh, I'll just let the board, I'll hang on for dear life and let the board carry me. No, you do that on a foil board in a big wave, all it's going to do is just do the big ski jump. So don't do that. You've got to hold on for dear life, keep your weight forward, let the board accelerate, it will, and let it shoot out in front of the wave. And let it break behind you or something like that. But you know, you can't let your weight shift back, because that's just going to, the foil's going to engage and just throw you backwards. So don't do that. So that's big waves, that's catching a wave. Yeah, so conserve that energy. But that's now the other thing, let's talk about this, and it's only really relevant here as a river mouth break as we've got here at Currumbin, is that I've actually picked out and specifically going out just after high tide, so that we've got an ebb tide flowing out of the river system here. Sometimes it gets a bit brown and dirty, or just gets a bit discoloured, a bit tasteless, but a bit weedy. But what it does is means that I'm always getting carried out to the wave. So it's really efficient in terms of the conservation of energy and spending more time on the water, is to actually use an outgoing tide to your benefit to actually carry you back out. Now there's one other important thing here. When it's low tide here, and a decent low tide, it's going to dry. It's going to dry and be, you know, substantially out of the water. Not badly, but what that means for you as a beginner is that you can't foil in those conditions. You need to look at your tidal curves and do it. So I'm going out here when the tide's above a metre, because I know that that's going to give me a certain amount of tolerance in terms of where the wave systems are at. Also give me an appropriate amount of depth, so I can actually you know, foil and catch a wave without the threat of, you know, getting into trouble, hitting the bottom, because you don't want to do that. It's too much money and too much gear down below you. You don't want to go hitting the beach and hitting sandbars all the time. So make sure you engage and collect and do your spoiling at the appropriate time of tide. So make sure you've got plenty of water. Don't go hitting the bottom, because that will wreck this stuff. Yeah, something's got to give, and it best not be you, but it might be some expensive gear hanging below your floorboard. So do take care of that. Make sure you have enough water. So high tide's pretty much the time. My life at the moment is built around high tides, as I'm doing this for almost 3 weeks straight, and spent, you know, come here 45 minutes later every day, because that's what the tides do. You get later by 45 minutes every day. So I'm out here and just working myself. If I'm really lucky, I'll get a morning foil and an afternoon one, because the high tides or the ebb tides just started at the front end and back end of the day. So anyway, those are a couple of things about catching a wave. There's other videos in the series. Let's talk about the actual process of catching, of actually steadying the board once you've actually caught the wave. I'll do that in the next video.